Like Phil, let's get down to business, no time to waste. Now let's
Okay guys, so I have my shrimp already deveined, shells off. Like I said, I had to do that, so I had to wait for it to defrost because it was frozen. In case you're wondering, what you're going to basically do when the shell is on, okay, is you're going to cut the backside of the fish. Be very careful. You want to have a sharp knife when you do it, but be very careful because it's slippery. Down towards the tail, pull out the vein there. It's not really a vein. And then you can pull the skin off. If you want to fry it like that, you definitely can. It'll have lots of flavor as well. I like to do it usually like that, but the boys are going to be eating dinner with me tonight. So yeah, go ahead and put your stove. I forgot to preheat it, but you want to go ahead and get that on number 5, about medium. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lobster tail, which I have defrosted here, and grab my knife out of my drawer. I forgot to tell you to capers. If you have sun-dried tomatoes that have been in the fridge, you definitely want to take it out. Mine have been in the fridge, so you want it to defrost. I have capers as well, just regular capers, and lemon juice. I like these lemon juices because I don't have to worry if I don't use all of the lemon. So I'm going to take my lobster tail, and from right here down, this is down the back of the tail, I'm going to push my knife in. You want to be very careful because, again, the shell itself is slippery. You can definitely cook the whole tail if you want all the extra flavor. But again, I have the boys, so I don't want bits and pieces in there of the tail and they choke on it. So you go ahead and open up your lobster tail like this, pull it out, and I like to give it a quick rinse under the sink because, again, you want to make sure that you clean out that vein. And you can do this, you can go to your local seafood section in your grocery market if you have one. You can get all of this stuff done for you, and this will really be a 10 to 15 minute dinner. But since I had all of these in the freezer, I decided I'm going to take that out and use that. So let me go and give this a quick wash. And you don't have to worry about losing any of that lobster flavor or shrimp flavor if you rinse it out, because it'll still have all of its flavor there. Okay, now I have my shrimp, or I'm sorry, my lobster. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut that up. So I'm going to go down the middle. And you decide what size you want to make it. So I'm going to do little tiny cuts because we want the flavor of the shrimp and the lobster in there. So that's the size cuts I'm doing. Small so that they're in every bite. And for the shrimp, I have, I want to say, about 25 to 30 pieces of shrimp that I deshelled. Just continue to cut this up.
Anything you want, just don't harm little Melody.
Okay. So our lobster is cut up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our butter. And this may seem kind of naughty, but I am going to put the entire block of butter into our pan. So I'm just using, and you want to make sure it's butter, not margarine or anything like that. And this will act as our oil agent, but it'll also give all that great flavor. So I'm taking my pan and I'm going to put it in there. It's already been heating up. I'm going to let that melt just a little bit, not a lot. I want it to melt it up just a bit, and then I'm going to dump in the shrimp and the lobster and get that cooked up. Now, because I have little ones, I like to kind of cook up my shrimp and lobster up well. If it were just for me, I would kind of, you know, cook it up good but not overcook it. But because of the little ones, I don't want them to develop oops, just splashed myself. I don't want them to develop allergies, so I do cook it well. But if it were for me, wouldn't have to crazy cook it up. So we're letting all of that go, and I'm going to start putting in the shrimp. So again, here is all the deveined and shelled shrimp. I'm going to put that in there. You can put them in a little at a time. I like them all to cook the same at the same rate. So that's what it looks like right now in the butter. Just like so. And if you can see, it's starting to already get kind of orange. That's good. It's starting to cook. So you can go ahead and throw your lobster in about a minute. Then what we're going to do is take some garlic salt. And you do that to taste. If you want, you can also go ahead and put in some onions first with the butter before you actually throw in the shrimp. But I'm going to use onion powder today. Onion powder, my Old Faithful. You guys see that in all of my videos. Also going to put a little bit of Italian seasoning. If you don't have that, that's fine. You can put in oregano, anything along those lines, just to give it just meshes really well with the pasta. And again, you'll put that in to taste. So I normally like to put in about 1/4 teaspoon or a pinch. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in the lobster. And I'm going to move this down so that I can get my pasta going. So here we go. As you can see, the lobster's in there. It's going to, when it starts to cook up, it'll get into smaller pieces. Perfect. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. And you can also put in fresh garlic, which I'm going to be doing as well. Normally I would put it in with the butter, but because I'm going to be deglazing the pan and adding in my white wine, I like to put the garlic in after. And I have pre-minced garlic. You guys have all seen this before, my minced garlic. Absolutely love that. Forgot to turn my fire on. and just put in about a tablespoon. Just like that, and we'll let it cook up. While that's cooking, I'm actually going to turn the fire down just a little bit. I'm going to get my pasta going. So I want to get out my water. So I have my pot. It's going to go on the stove, start boiling. You can put in a little bit of salt if you want, but because there is butter and garlic and everything in here, I really didn't want it to be too salty because, again, the kids are going to be eating it. And I'm using linguine. This is the Best Yet brand. You can get wheat pasta, will work very well. That one was on sale, so I used that. Okay. Now I got 2 burners going, so I don't really, my kitchen is small. I don't have too much cutting space. So what I'm going to do is just let this kind of simmer, and I'll come back to show you how I'm going to add in the wine, the lemon, and the other ingredients. Alright, so this has been kind of sauteing in its own. Looks great. As you can tell, it's completely cooked. Still got the butter sauce. I'm going to take my linguine and pop that into my boiling water and set my timer. What I like to do, because the linguine is so long, and I'll show you what I mean. Because it's so long like this, I break it in half. It's just easier for the kids to eat. And I'll use the whole box. Right into my boiling water. Let that cook up. Usually I'll set my kitchen timer so I know when to check it. That way if I'm busy doing something, it's not a problem. In the meantime, while we are on break and letting this heat up and cook, Kael, can you help brother please? I went ahead and cut up the sun-dried tomatoes. Can you put some of that and some of the toasted oats in there, please? I cut up my sun-dried tomatoes, which I will have ready, but I'm going to go ahead now and turn the fire up a little bit. Shh, take my bottle of wine. Oh, I didn't even set my timer. Let me do that first. Set my timer for about 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take my bottle of wine. I'm using Chardonnay. Any type of white wine will do. I'm going to take my cork out. And I still have this on medium heat because what it's going to do is kind of caramelize the butter. And I'm going to go ahead and pour in about a cup. Now don't worry about the alcohol in this. It will cook out. And you might want to get another thing of butter if you want. You can definitely do that. Oh, that smells delicious. I think I'll pour me a glass. I'm going to add a little bit more because that's how much I used so far. And we're going to let this cook because we want to cook out that alcohol. And I'm going to let that cook, but at the same time I'm going to take my sun-dried tomatoes and go ahead and throw those in now. I love cooking with any type of alcohol. It's just something my dad always did. And I used what was left in my sun-dried tomato jar, but there's about 10 of the dried tomatoes in there that I just sliced up thin. I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to put lemon yet. Like I said, I'm going to let this cook down just a little bit more. But if you want, you can definitely grab out your butter already. Because I want to put just a little bit more butter into my sauce. Because I can smell it already. And if you lost some of that buttery smell, then you might want to put a little bit more butter in. And I may just even put in a little bit more wine. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook and reduce down. I do like to stick a spoon in there and taste it from time to time to make sure that I did cook out the alcohol. You want the flavor, not the alcohol. But you can go ahead and leave this on medium and let that cook. Don't worry if you are the type of person that don't like your shrimp cooked too much. Like I said, I'm feeding the kids. So if you don't, you could always have drained this out first and then throw in the wine with the butter sauce. But the boys like it like this, so we're good. I got 6 more minutes on my pasta, and then I'll come back and finish up, show you guys what else I'm going to do. Alright, so this has kind of been cooking down and reducing. As you can see, all of the sun-dried tomatoes really help to color the sauce. And my pasta is ready to be tossed in. I'm going to give it a quick taste to make sure I cooked out the alcohol enough. And to see if I need any more seasoning. Okay, I need like another minute. I'm going to add in, I actually don't need to add more butter. I will know once I put the pasta in. But I am going to put in a little bit more garlic salt. And I'm going to also put in the capers. Then I'm just using the regular capers. And I usually will put in a spoonful. Pick it up, please. Don't do that. Pick up your cup. So this is just a regular spoon. I'll put in that much. One more. Kind of mix it in and see how it mixes, if there's enough. Put in one more spoon. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my pasta. And start using, I'm using my pasta spoon. And I'm just going to start putting it in. My house smells so good. I love dinner. or any food meal of the day, because my house always smells so good. I'm really excited because holidays are coming, so I think you guys will see a lot more cooking tutorials. I'm going to make my pumpkin pie and caramel apples, so stay tuned for those. Okay, so it's about half. Just go ahead and mix it in. This way I'll see how much it actually soaks up the liquid. Okay, now's the time that I'm going to take my lemon, which I actually need to put a hole in. I forgot. Okay, and I'm going to squeeze my lemon to taste, but I would say about 1/4 cup. About, yeah, give or take, about a tablespoon. Okay, now I'm going to continue finishing ladling in the rest of the pasta. You can definitely use a colander and just drain out the water. I just find that this is easier. I'm right here. I don't have to dirty any more dishes than I already have. Garlic bread would be a good addition to this as well, but I forgot to pick that up when I went to the store. You can also make homemade garlic bread if you want. If you get a little bit of pasta water in there, that's not a problem either. Okay, I just have one more spoon to go, but I gotta stir this up really quick. Can you hear my kids? Dinner time. Everybody's hungry. Oh my god, it smells so good in here. If you have Parmesan cheese, you can put that on too. I know a lot of people don't usually like cheese with seafood, but it works. Just a few more. Okay, I think I got them. There we go. Okay. So go ahead and stir it up. You want to make sure it's combined completely, and then you're going to taste it again. This time you want to make sure that all the flavor is getting into your pasta. So you're going to actually taste your pasta. Get a fork. And I like to grab from the top. Oh my goodness, delicious. I'm actually going to put in just a little bit more lemon. And I am going to throw in half a block of butter. So I just cut a block of butter in half, and it'll melt up really quickly. Of course, if you are going to the healthy route, you don't have to do this. But I just want a little bit more of a butter flavor. So mix that, put my pasta on top, and then that'll be perfect. I'm going to put just a little bit more garlic salt and a little bit more pepper. And it. Dinner is done. The butter will melt up. If you want, see how the noodles, here, let me show you. See how the noodles soaked up all the sauce? That's not a bad thing. That's what you want. That's why you wanted to cook out the alcohol first, because if you didn't, your noodles would have that alcohol flavor. And that's why I added in another half a thing of butter, so that it would actually have a little bit more sauce. Not much, but just a little bit more to coat it. And that is it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get this plated up and ready to go once the butter melts, and I'll come back to show you how I do it. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and plate up. Just gonna give it a last toss. I've already shut the fire off. I like to take noodles. If there's going to be shrimp or whatever inside, that's fine. I usually like to plate it like this. And then I'll take a couple of the shrimp and all that other stuff that usually ends up on the sides, just like that. And that is it, guys. Delicious. I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you do decide to do it yourself, comment down below and let me know how it came out. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.